Welcome. We're back. Bitcoin is going crazy. What's up? Gold miner, Nerve, Cheddar Freeze, Julio. And right now we're taking a look at what was about a 16% move in 8 hours. And actually on one 15-minute candle, you saw a 4% spike. So really good movement. It's up 15% on the day currently, which is crazy. We have an ongoing swing, which is now up 8% since the entry. It never got stopped out. It was actually pretty close. It was about 4% away from the stop at one point, and now it's back up 8% since the entry. Even earlier today, I did mention that the swing was back in profit, and that the double bottom increased the probability of the trade, and that the hidden bullish divergence was nearly confirmed. And that was at $41,000, and now you're sitting at 43.2K, and your hidden bullish divergence will be confirmed in 4 minutes. So you are 4 minutes away from confirming hidden bullish divergence on the daily for the first time in a while. In a pretty long time, it seems. I think, we're going to call this hidden bullish divergence since like last October, which led to a move from 40K to all-time highs. That was the last time you had something that looked like hidden bullish divergence, I believe, on the daily. So that's really good. Major bullish engulfing candle. I've been saying, even the past few nights, even with the drop it had, I continue to say that Bitcoin still looks like one of my favorite charts, and it's continuing to hold up against a lot of other markets. So 46K is 45.7K is pretty much your next resistance. Maybe like 44.5 to 45.7. That's, I'd say, would be your resistance zone to look for. And support, probably around 40K. You can see it from this low and these lows and this high. So Ethereum is also spiking up 11%. Bullish engulfing candle here as well. No divergence, but a potential double bottom. And at this point, could be looked at like this, like a dragon pattern, double bottom, supply line. Your MACD did cross over to green, so you didn't have divergence, but that's a nice MACD crossover. And crude oil futures, looks like they pulled back a little bit. I mean, they were up 5% today, but at one point in the day, they were all the way up at 99. Now they around 96. And currently stock futures are slightly green. I'm not sure if the Russian index traded today. Yeah, it doesn't look like it did. The Hang Seng index did trade today, and it was down about 0.25%, but it did create a hammer candle. It looks like it broke support during the day today, but it created a hammer to close like pretty much right at support. So it'll be interesting to see what the candle looks like tomorrow. Gold, bullish engulfing candle for gold. It's still just relatively, apart from this crazy spike, has just been going sideways for like the past week. And the dollar also pretty similar to crude oil futures like we looked at earlier. Saw a move higher earlier in the day, but then pulled back. So it's still just kind of in this long-term rising wedge, but it's not even close to breaking down. So that's the dollar. And yeah, let's go over stock indices right now, and let's take a look. The S&P 500, it was pretty much the only major index that was red today, it seems. I know Dow Jones was red too. So the S&P and the Dow Jones were lagging today, but you did see the QQQ, NASDAQ, ARKK, Russell 2000 all closed green. The ARK ETF was actually up 4%. So on a day that the S&P was red, the ARK ETF was up 4%. Now we've been talking about this for a while. Oh wow, it's the first merge in a while volume. Nerve, thanks for getting the FTMT. He said needed more merch. I hope you enjoy it. Vibes in the chat for Nerve. I really need to get like an emoji or something I can pop up. But really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy it. And looks like you're adding to the collection, which is awesome. So yeah, the S&P 500, kind of like an inside day. You try to take out yesterday's or Friday's high, and you just really had like an intraday fake out, and then you pull back pretty violently to a new session low, and then you kind of ran back up in like the last half an hour of the day. So overall, it kind of ended like a flat day, like an inside day. You did have some intraday volatility though. Saw some pretty crazy 5-minute candles multiple times today. which we'll take a look at. Overall on the daily though, what the market looks like to me is pretty much the same exact as last night. You have a continuation of classic bullish divergence. You've still held above support, which is very, very important. Futures were down 3% when we were talking last night. When I was live last night, futures were down 3%, and you closed green for most of the indices today, apart from the S&P and the Dow Jones. So you had a very, very big reversal. I mean, if we just look at S&P futures, this is the reversal that we just saw between last night's stream and where we are right now. So nice reversal there for futures. Looks like they're just finding some resistance, or S&P futures are finding resistance around over here. And yeah, going into tomorrow, I think a very easy way to look at tomorrow is break above 438 and hold it would be bullish. Break below probably today's low, which is 430, could bring you down to like 426. So you could just play like a regular inside day where you know, break above scenario is good, break down scenario is bad. But overall, the fact that you're still holding up gains after you rallied like 6-7% in 2 days without any major pullback is pretty impressive. The bears still haven't really been able to regain any sort of control, apart from a little bit of a dip today. So that's the daily for the S&P. The QQQ got pretty close to bullish engulfing candle, but you gapped up a little bit. Or no, you kind of actually you gapped down, so you didn't really fully engulf the body. But you did confirm classic bullish divergence on the QQQ for the first time in a very, very long time. I'm not even sure how long, because it's always made higher lows. So this is like your first truly lower low on the daily in a pretty long time. So yeah, it's been a long time since it's seen classic bullish divergence on the daily. The lump actually put out a couple of posts in the watchlist scanner channel showing some results of the indices on different time frames with classic bullish divergence. So when the QQQ had classic bullish divergence, about 50% of the time it went up. So I'm not sure how many times it had it, but around half the times it did go up following the confirmation of classic bullish divergence. And the percent it increased by was pretty much 11%, which is very, very good. If I'm reading that correctly, let me know if I'm not. But make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description. It's free to join. So yeah, the QQQ hopefully can break out of this descending broadening wedge. If not, you have a nice support zone here right under you. So looks fine right now. And the ARK ETF, we talked about this potentially happening this week last night, and this is very big. What have I been saying for the past like 2 or 3 months on the ARK ETF? I'm not interested in it until it breaks out of this wedge. And it's finally testing a breakout of the wedge. Remember, breakout's not everything. You still need confirmation, but you have triple classic bullish divergence confirmed on the daily. You're testing a breakout of the wedge, and there's not much resistance to like 81 or around $80. So the ARK ETF is looking really good to me for the first time in a long time. I said the same thing last night, but now it's just further proving that. Third green day in a row, very good price action. As long as it stays above that low from last Thursday, I'm bullish on the ARK ETF for the first time in a long time. And the Russell 2000 is at a make or break area. It's testing 205, which is the previous support, or the bottom of the range it was in for a year. So now it's approaching a retest of that zone. It is resistance. If you break above it, that's bullish. It could send you all the way up to like 221. If you can't break above it, that's bearish, and that could send you back down to 188. That's really the easiest way to look at the Russell 2000. And the NASDAQ, same thing as the QQQ, pretty much on lower time frames. You do have potential hidden bearish divergence, which I warned about in the Discord earlier today on most of the indices. But you never confirmed it. You actually started increasing positive momentum with the final candle of the day. And what's interesting about the price action overall today is you could kind of call it a bull flag. All right, so if you take a look at most of the indices, you could pretty much chart a bull flag. Let me fix this. And pretty much chart this bull flag over here for the QQQ. You could do the same thing on almost all the indices right now. So that's really, really interesting heading into tomorrow. Typically on a bull flag, you want to break the top of the flag for your true breakout. Of course, you have a flag, you have a regular breakout, which you could just play from the supply line breakout to the top of the flag. But for like a continuation of a bull pull, bull flag, what you want to do is break the top of the flag for a continuation, if that makes sense. So you're going to be looking for that tomorrow. And after hours, he pretty much ran all the way up to test this resistance. So really the big level to watch in the SPY tomorrow is a break above 438. That could send you to at least like 440, I would think. And I'm not sure if this is no divergence. We did get a MACD crossover on the 15-minute. And the QQQ very similar to the SPY and low time frame. So that's really it. There's not much else to say. The ARK is kind of in the middle of a range on lower time frames. The Russell retesting a little bit of a resistance zone, this whole entire area. And the NASDAQ, same thing as the QQQ and the SPY. So yeah, I mean, apart from that on the 5-minute today, nothing crazy happened. These two moves I was able to anticipate. The last move, I mean, also, as long as you're, you know, all right, so it's actually pretty funny here, but this move, all you had to do was watch the stream. This move, if you were in premium, you got the warning. And then this move, if you're in Discord, you got the heads up. So all three of these moves in the last 24 hours, I was able to anticipate. Last night I said, you know, futures were really red, but what happened last Wednesday night going into Thursday when futures were really red? I said you could see a situation where you get a buy at the open and you start riding up, and really what you've been doing for a lot of the last few sessions is gap up or gap down. Traders tend to fill the gap intraday. So you gap down and you filled your gap up, and then once you fill that gap, you pull back, right? That's a resistance. So last night on stream, I said look for potentially a buy at the open, a nice spike up. That's what you saw today. I did see something in Discord. Remind everybody else about that. And then when we were filling the gap today, I alerted SPY puts to premium members, and those went up about 400%. I alerted them at 11:38. They were 75 cents. They were same day expiration lottos. And at the high of the day, they were up 400%. I even shared like my 3 take profit zones I was eyeing. And you can see if we just look through it. This is where pretty much I alerted it at the gap fill resistance. That's a 5-minute hidden bearish divergence. And I shared my 3 different take profit levels, these green boxes, and then one by one, each take profit level was achieved. There you go. And then the final one, there you go. So share those SPY puts, and then even later on in the day, I shared this wedge in the Discord right over here. It was 3:50, 10 minutes before, actually no, before that I did. It was 3:45, 15 minutes before the close. I shared that I was breaking out the wedge, and the SPY went from 434 right over here up to like 436, and now almost 438 after hours. So that was really the price action from today. And that's pretty much the breakdown of the market, and I guess the day trade from today. So that's the overall market. We have a couple new swings I want to mention. Facebook, first one. I mean, I've been talking about Facebook almost every night on stream for the past week. Shouldn't be a surprise. I've shown this chart many times, and I finally put up a swing today. It was just flat today, but I do like the price action on lower time frames. Is breaking out of this wedge that it's been in since the beginning of this month. So it's finally breaking out of the wedge. I like that lower time frame price action. 4 hours also making a nice move off the low. And yeah, the idea here is you fill the gap, which is, you see this orange line right over here, April 20th, April 30th, April 29th, April 30th of 2020. You fill that gap. You got a bullish engulfing candle at the low, a MACD crossover, and all that happened at the PCZ of pretty much a bullish cipher for the most part. So that's a new Facebook swing. And then Netflix, this I shared in the watch list with everybody on Twitter yesterday, and I like how Netflix is breaking back above this blue resistance zone. It's broken back above it. It also broke out of a supply line, so you have a double breakout. You have a historical range breakout and a supply line breakout after double bottoming and showing a bullish engulfing candle at a low. And all this is happening at the PCZ or around the PCZ of a bullish shark. So those are 2 new swings. I shared 2 other ones in premium as well. And that's really it. So they're pretty much still around the entry. I shared these like right after the close. Apart from that, CLOV had a big day today. Last week I told you all CLOV was breaking out of this wedge. I talked about the classic bullish divergence. Obviously the earnings gave it a nice push, and it's moving very nicely. I even played some calls in the morning. It was like 70-80%, like really quickly. So it's making these nice legs up. I forget what it's called. There's a name for this type of a pattern where you have like it's like three. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see. There's a name for like this stair step where you have kind of 3 consolidation ranges in a row. Ascending base, that might be the name of it. Ascending base chart pattern. Because it's, I don't know if I call it 3 rising valleys. Yeah, I'd kind of look at it. It's something like this right over here. Okay, you can see the ascending base. You have kind of just consolidation after runs up 3 times in a row. And it's pretty much been doing that. This will be the 3rd one if it breaks out tomorrow and runs again. So yeah, really, really good price action. I even shared this 15-minute breakout, I believe, last week on stream. And 1 hour I shared the breakout, and these are all my levels on the 1 hour I also showed last night. Same thing on the 4 hour, you broke out. So breakouts across the board. You never know, it could back test, although I don't think it will back test. That would pretty much mean it would fall back to $2 before going any higher. You know, it might pull back to 250, 240, whatever before going higher, but $2 before going higher, I just don't think it's going to happen after you bottomed once around $2 and a second time. So you also have this double bottom formation here. And yeah, you're certainly out of the wedge. The weekly looks really nice to me. I talked about this last week. You have nearly confirmed classic bullish divergence, and you're out of the wedge for the first time since last June when you squeezed to all-time highs. So really interesting stuff there for CLOV. Also, there's a meme stock documentary, the one that was like talked about like a year ago, if anybody remembers. That's coming out on HBO this week. And AMC and GameStop are both looking interesting. AMC is a swing alert to premium members at $15. It's currently at $19. It's already hit 2 of the 4 targets. I guess you all can see the rest of my targets for AMC as of right now. But yeah, I mean, this is a double bottom at the PCZ of a bullish Gartley. I started talking about this in like December, and now you're seeing it in front of, like, this is amazing, okay? Your back testing was once a resistance last March and May, as a support in January and February, with a double bottom at the PCZ of a Gartley. After confirming classic bullish divergence, bullish engulfing candle at the low. I mean, this could take a long time or not because it's AMC, but it's very, very interesting to see a chart look like this. I mean, it's textbook stuff right there. And then GameStop, I don't know how I feel about it. I wouldn't say it's the same technically. It also has a chance of developing hidden bearish divergence currently. But you did break out of the wedge, and you're trying to make your first higher low in a while on GameStop. So you have those two as well. Even BlackBerry I'm keeping a close eye on, which I think we talked about last night. We did, so I'm not going to bring it up again, but it's in a pretty large wedge. Fisker was up a couple percent today. And I shared this 1 hour shark in the Discord last week, and that's pretty much been playing out. Now it's testing a historical resistance zone. It used to be support over here and over here, and now it's been your resistance over here, over here, over here. So you're retesting it. Break above like 13 would be really, really good. I think a break above 13 sends you back to 1450, which is this big level from these lows over here, this high, these highs, which was pretty much when the first target of the trade did hit after hours on earnings day, which you don't see on the chart currently. Lucid also had a nice move today. I played Lucid. I played a bunch of different calls in the morning. I didn't alert any because they were super quick, but I played CLOV calls, I played Roblox calls, I played Lucid calls, I played AMD calls. We're gonna go to AMD before Lucid because I played AMD calls this morning. It was probably like I think it was like a 50% gain, but I told you all last night on the stream. I'm watching. Where did it? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Go back to last night's stream. Go to the timestamps. Look at what I said about AMD. I said look for a back test of this, and then potentially if it bounces off of it to go long, get calls. Not financial advice. And it was beautiful. It even pretty much got up to the resistance which I had charted last night on stream. So I played literally this exact move on AMD and got like 50% on weekly calls. So that's another one. All you had to do was watch last night's stream. Literally go back, and it was perfect. I mean, this was also a 200% gain for premium members on Friday, but I said I might look to trade it again today. That's what I said last night on stream, and I was able to. It happened very nicely, very quick. And I literally took profits like right over here, and I got out, and Maybe I'll look at it again tomorrow if it backtests 121, which you can see is your high over here and your low over here. I don't know. 3 days in a row, I don't know. But the first 2 days in a row were pretty nice. So I played AMD calls this morning. Lucid calls I also played because it was reclaiming. It had already done this, I think, on Friday, but it was on my watch list because it was reclaiming these areas. This, like quadruple bottom, it broke it when everything was happening in the middle of last week, and then it reclaimed it when the market was rallying on Thursday and Friday. So I also got Lucid calls. All these were day trades for me. I honestly feel like I should have held a lot more because I still think a lot of these have potential for tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. I kind of took my profits because they were all kind of weekly calls, but it's also retesting this resistance zone on the 4 hour. So I don't know, a lot of charts are looking interesting for the first time in a while. So I'm just looking through my watch list right now. Those are a few of the names I played. I even played Roblox. I had pretty much played the low of the day to the high of the day on Roblox. Like I think I literally played it perfectly today. Roblox, I think I got it around like over here when it was retesting a breakout of the VWAP, and then I sold it right under 53 because on the 1 hour, 53 was like this level. It was this previous high, previous low, sorry. So I pretty much took profits there as well. And all of that, pretty much all of my profits were also being taken when the SPY was filling the gap right over here, like right before I alerted puts. So pretty much on this move over here, I was playing calls on all those names I just mentioned. Even Facebook, I played calls on this morning. I forgot to mention that. And then I started taking my profits in this leg, and then I switched over to SPY puts over here off the gap fill, and I played it to like around over here, and then I pretty much just sat out for this leg of the day. But that was pretty much how I traded today. And yeah, that's my breakdown overall. Nothing really apart from that. Bitcoin still just kind of consolidating for the last couple of hours after a really nice spike. And Bitcoin ETF I'm going to be watching tomorrow is BITO. I want to see if it can break above this blue zone over here. MACD just crossed over to green. It broke out of a wedge and pretty much double bottomed. And obviously I said how much I like the Bitcoin chart. The only thing is it's kind of late. There was a much clearer entry around these areas, but kind of missed it. So I will be looking to see if, I don't know, maybe BITO does something like this. Maybe play a move up towards this resistance, but that's another one I'm watching. ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF. So yeah, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out the first link in the description if you want to donate crypto to Ukraine. And that's pretty much a breakdown from today. Pretty quick stream. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hit the subscribe button if you didn't already. Timestamps will be up in the morning tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for watching.